Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're watching us across the globe. Delhi Public School Bangalore East welcomes you to the very first episode of its talk show series, Power Hour. Through this platform, we wish to bring to you very absorbing, insightful, and scintillating discussions, talks, and chats. So do stay tuned. Today's show is titled Hospitality and Culinary Insights. And this is Sonali Roy from the English department, your host for the evening. So all you foodies out there and the gastronomes out there, wanderlust souls, travel enthusiasts, here we have a brilliant panel of all celebrated people to quench your curiosity on hospitality and culinary queries. So without much ado, let me introduce to you our illustrious panel of guests. I have the utmost pleasure of introducing to you the charming and gorgeous fellow of IIHM, Ms. Sanchari Chaudhary. Ms. Sanchari is currently the director of IIHM Bangalore and has been in eminent positions in marketing, operations, customer care, project management, and corporate communications in multinational brands, starting with Oberoi Hotels, Hutchison Telecom East Limited, and Vodafone, IMS Learning Institutions, and is currently with IIHM Group Institutions and IndusSmart Group. She has worked with projects extensively and has been instrumental in setting up the campus as a pre-opening campus director in the last 12 years of her association, followed with the heading the Bangalore location 4+ years and overseeing the South currently. A management professional with an experience spanning over more than 19 years across hospitality, telecommunications, and education management verticals, Ms. Sanchari is an alumnus of IAM Hotel School, Kolkata, graduating in hospitality management from Robert Gordon University, UK, and holding a master's in sales and marketing from Vishwabharati University, Shantiniketan. She is honored with the title Fellow of IIHM International College of Distinguished Fellows, UK, for her unique contributions towards hospitality in the year 2021. She is the SKL India member in the city chapters of Hyderabad and Bangalore, currently for the past 7 years, and has been a catalyst in introducing Young SKL program for young hospitality professionals in the city of Hyderabad. She is also the co-chairperson, Tourism Hospitality Travel Expert Committee at Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Personally, she is an avid reader, a cinephile, a lover of fine arts and pencil sketches and music, and a passionate canine lover. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me introduce to you the very charismatic Miss Sanchari Chaudhary. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Sonali ma'am, for that amazing introduction. I feel so good hearing about myself. I'm certain everybody does so, but then I think it was very, very nice to hear with the energy and of course with the beauty that you actually said. Thank you very much for inviting me here today. Looking forward to a very delightful conversation in the panel.
We are equally glad, ma'am, to have you here amidst us today. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. A seasoned and versatile hospitality professional with a career spanning over 2 decades, Mr. Sanjay Gupta is the current general manager of Sheraton Grand Bengaluru, Whitefield Hotel and Convention Center. Mr. Sanjay has worked with brands like Hilton, Hyatt Hotels, Grand Hyatt, and Oberoi Hotels and Resorts. Over the years, he has honed his skills in managing a diverse team of people and has championed operational excellence through his profound knowledge and dedication to advocating the ethos of travel and hospitality. He is at the helm of operations, ensuring personalized, high-quality service to guests. Mr. Sanjay is a graduate from IIHM Kolkata and is an alumnus of St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. He has also completed his executive development program from IIHM Ahmedabad and IIT Delhi. He has been the recipient of some very prestigious awards within the organization, such as the Spirit to Serve Associates Marriott Take Care Award, Asia Pacific China for the year 2022, and the General Manager of the year 2022 from Business World Hotelier as a national winner. Furthermore, he is the third Indian hotelier to be awarded an honorary diploma by the Leclerc Day of Paris, France. I'm indeed delighted to present before you the dynamic Mr. Sanjay Gupta. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Ms. Roy, thank you very much. And I'd like to extend my thanks to DPS East for giving me this opportunity, though I've been just about little more than 100 days in the city. But as I say, it's a homecoming for me because I've worked and I've served here before, say about 10 years back. But I'm really, really very excited. And thank you so much for this introduction, and let's see if I can put a very engaging discussion together with the eminent panelists. Today we have Chef and Sanchari together, and later we would be ready for some questions if there is. Thank you.
Surely, sir. It's a pleasure to have you amidst us today. Thank you, sir. It's indeed my great pride and honor to be presenting before you the globally renowned Chef Enzo Oliveri, President, Federation of Italian Chefs UK, Director, International Hospitality Council, and Chef Judge at the Young Chef Olympiad. Many of us must be already familiar with him through his TV appearances in cooking programs with Michelle Roux, Kitchen Impossible on ITV in the UK, in Sicily with Aldo Zilai, for Aldo and Enzo in Sicily, and BBC Good Food with Gordon Ramsay, Channel 4. I can already sense the smile on so many faces, and Paul Hollywood in City Baker for Food Network. For the past 5 years, he's been honing his skills as a sports nutritionist, working with the Italian national cycling team. He's regularly called upon by the Italian government, the embassy, and the Italian Cultural Institute to help in promoting Italian food and healthy living through exhibitions, cooking shows, and masterclasses. He imparts occasional sessions at the West London University too. Mr. Oliveri has spent the last 20 years in London successfully making a name for himself by opening a series of restaurants as well as cookery school in Bromley, of which he remains the chief patron chef. His repertoire includes working for Princess Cruises, Walt Disney, Hilton International, and the likes. Mr. Oliveri has cooked for a number of prime ministers, world leaders, and VIPs, including Princess Diana, Madonna, Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Al Pacino, and many more. Here's the man, a celebrity himself, Chef Enzo Oliveri. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We are indeed delighted to have you on board.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you for the introduction. It makes me feel, that I've been doing a lot in my years, and still I've got to do a lot more because I want to give a lot more to the young generation. Thank you very much to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for gracing this occasion, and a very warm welcome to all our celebrated guests. Before we begin with the round of questions, we would like to hear from our guests as to how they are feeling. I think they've already mentioned in a line or two. If we can again go over how they're feeling today. To be amidst us today evening, Sanchari ma'am, may I ask you to please speak first, your introductory opening statements.
Surely, ma'am. Thank you so much once again. A very good evening to you. A very good evening to everybody at DPS East, especially Manila, ma'am. Thank you so much for the honor and the love. And definitely all my panel members, my very esteemed panel members and close friends, Mr. Gupta, Chef Enzo. It is so amazing and heartwarming to be here today. And the most importantly, all the students, all the cherished students and the parents who are in fact here to listen to this at the end of the day. Thank you so much. I'm very certain that, when it comes to being the end of the day, everybody basically always thinks, when will this day end, right? But then definitely today's day has been planned so beautifully by DPS East, by all of you here, on a very, very important career option, on a very, very important, I'll say the most important field. And you can say life for us, which we always talk about, which is basically hospitality. I'm certain everybody, all of us here would want to always agree that there can never be a more beautiful industry more than hospitality, because it is the foundation of all. Uh, I'm sure by the end, of the end of this particular evening, with all the discussions, everybody will be able to understand exactly what hospitality industry implies and exactly what can somebody do post that. But then, yes, as a preview and definitely as a start to the evening, I would like to say that this is, you can say, a particular margin of life which makes you very happy. It is a people's, you can say, most awarded profession that we have all accepted in. And we are very happy people ourselves. That's the reason why we are here today talking about it. And our experiences and whatever we would like to basically share is something that will, in fact, be very engaging and very important for anybody who would like to be a part of this industry lifelong. So that is from my end. We are all looking forward to a great, great conversation today. And a big, big, big cheers to hospitality for bringing us together this evening.
Thank you so much, Sanchari ma'am. That was wonderful to hear from you. I would now ask Sanjay sir if he would add to this program.
Thank you very much, Ms. Roy. I think I'm very, very glad to be part of this entire program with this elated audience. The audience are not only students, but audience are teachers, audience are students, audience are and a lot of faculty member I know present for this. In terms of the industry which we work for, one of the things and one of the ethos what we follow is that never say no. For us, everything is yes. And even if we say no, there's a manner in which we say no. To be very honest, we are here to serve people. We are here to make them happy. This industry is absolutely, absolutely amazing industry. I would say 25, 26 years I've been working with this industry, and I've never ever felt today bored of this industry. I'll tell you a little bit, small little caption which just happened, and a small little story which just happened to my life. And this is and I would like everyone to know this, is that, there are different type of people professionally who can do multiple work. For example, say Sanchari was a sales and marketing buff, now an educationist, and so on and so forth. I've only worked in hotels, and then came a pandemic, and I'm going to share some stories about pandemic later, maybe. All right. But when pandemic came, and I really thought because people were losing jobs, and let's be very honest about it, to be very honest, because there was no business, right? And people were losing job. And I also thought that if I lose job, what would I do? And I thought for 3 days, and trust me, I got no answer, because I don't know what else to be done other than hotellery. So all in all, I say that thank you so much for inviting me. It should be a great conversation. I'm definitely looking forward for it. But the type of job what we do is not a very normal stuff. It's not very difficult. It's no rocket science. It's just to put some common sense together. And it's one of the industries which I think I would retire, and even after retirement, I continue to be a hotelier. So that's what I wanted to tell everyone before even we begin any conversation. Thank you.
That was a pleasure to hear, sir. That's wonderful. We now would like to ask Chef Enzo Oliveri if you could add something to the show.
Yes, hospitality, of course, is my world, is our world, and it's just being hospitable. Like we said before, it's easy to do. For us, Italian and India, is even easier because we were born with this gift, because it's natural to us to be hospitable. It's just that we have to study, we have to know what is right, what is wrong, what put together, what is good for the people that they trusting us. So there is a lot of knowledge that we need to do. But as we said before, that the common sense is above everything. And being like me in a chef of the world, the washing hotels and cruise liners, restaurant, what can we do? Is our service that we give it to people, and we get satisfaction how to give a good service, good food, and make people comfortable. because everybody needs to be comfortable after the work, and they leave to us to achieve this for them. And that is our job, and is our aim to give it to people that trust in us.
Thank you so much, Chef Enzo. That was very, very heartening to hear from you. Let us begin our first round of questions. And before we do that, I would like to brief our guests as well as our viewers on the structure of the program. We begin with the question round, and wherein we'll ask 2 questions per guest. And then we have the rapid fire round. Thereafter, we would request our guests to make their closing statement. And finally, we have the Q&A session. So I think we are all good to go. Should we begin, dear guests? Yes.
Sure.
Okay, great. My first question is for Ms. Sanchari. Sanchari ma'am, today's session is on hospitality. Firstly, we would like to understand from you, what do you mean by hospitality? And how do you define or describe hospitality to someone who's not from the industry, someone who's not acquainted well with the term? How would you state its importance, or is it important to know about hospitality for our day-to-day lives? Sanchari ma'am, if you could explain that.
Thank you so much, Sonali ma'am, for this question. I think, as we mentioned before, and as I was saying, the first thing that we have to always imply in ourselves is about what makes us and what is the foundation that we have. I think hospitality is all around us, and it is the foundation for everything that we do in life. Today, no matter what we go through, or whether it is inside our house, right? Because it starts from your house, right? That's where you're born. That's where you basically learn how to be courteous, how to talk to people, how to be social, because that's where your parents, your teachers, your influencers basically help you connect with people, right? You become a social person. You start going out, and that's where you become friends. So these are all basically the start to hospitality, right? When you're entering a new building, or any building for say, it can be a hotel, it can be a bank, it can be any particular building. Every building has got a security person, right? A security person's main duty is to basically see who is getting in, who is getting out, and to wish everybody, right? His or her first expectation is that I'm going to be smiling at every guest, if it's a hotel, who is entering my premises, and it can be even a bank. A lot of us don't even notice a security guard who is standing at the premise of a property. And we might be working in a place for 15 years while we do not even know who the person is. We are always in a hurry to get inside. But if we kind of stop by and basically notice, and of course our eyes meet, we know that we are smiling at each other and we are acknowledging. So hospitality to me is all about acknowledgement that we do with people. It can be, somebody smiling at a counter. It can be someone who's actually, understanding my needs, being empathetic, right? And coming and helping me with a glass of water when I need it. It can be somebody who's helping me get a seat if I'm not keeping too well, and maybe standing inside a bus and waiting for a seat to happen. So every small thing starts with hospitality, and it is the most important thing that everybody should basically embrace in their life, because without hospitality and without that skill being embraced, you cannot be tomorrow in any career, in any profession. For example, this is something which I always keep telling our students here. That is, if I'm a doctor is not just about, somebody who is learning to treat you or basically help you get a prescription and maybe do a surgery. A doctor basically becomes a doctor and close to your heart the very moment that doctor speaks to you in a very warm-hearted manner. When you're entering a clinic, you're absolutely fascinated and you're absolutely, heartened by a smile, by a doctor who tells you everything is going to be all right, right? He makes you sit, he makes you basically, absolutely calm, right? He's taking care of you, maybe giving you some water. And that's where he he basically makes that person feel comfortable. So you have to be a good doctor. And with being a good doctor, is not just about being excellent in your technical skills, but also being a great person. who is humble, who is absolutely warm, who is courteous, and who is absolutely welcoming. So that goes for every particular profession today, because no one, I think, can have anything to do in life, or maybe can move forward in life without any of these important, you can say, personality traits, without a feeling of being human, because they have to be generous, they have to be kind, you have to be courteous. Only then can you feel that you can actually be a good, hospitable person to somebody. So that is, for me, the art of hospitality that we all believe in.
Wow, that was a revelation, ma'am. I must tell you. We didn't realize till now that even a security guard should be hospitable and he needs to know what it is. You have brought so much light into the idea and the concept of hospitality. Thank you so much, ma'am. That really resolved all our doubts and cleaned and cleared all our thoughts on hospitality. Thanks a lot, ma'am. My next question is for Sanjay, sir. Sir, you have been in the industry for the last 20 years or so, more than 2 decades. The hospitality industry has evolved over time. In recent years, we see new models of hosting such as Airbnb, homestays, hostels, which are becoming very popular. What are your thoughts about some of these? And does it affect big chains of hotels? How are you all combating it?
That's a great question, ma'am. And just before I answer, I think the answer which you wanted is actually in the question, hotel industry is ever evolving. Every industry is evolving, right? What we came out of the catering colleges and the type of hotels we saw and the type of work which we did today, all our student and Sanchari would be able to resonate that with me, are something which they do really very differently. Okay, of course, making the bed remains the same. Serving a guest remains the same. For chef, cooking a food in a particular manner remains the same. But definitely the industry has taken a 360-degree turn in 2 decades. The way we have learned, we have done things, of course, the basis remains the same. The heart remains the same, but the body actually has changed. Zostel, Airbnb, other chains like Fab Hotel or maybe Tribo, these are some of the chains which we keep hearing about, and they are mushrooming in every corner of our country, if not in the world, right? How has that happened? This has basically happened because there has been a demand, and there has been a demand for good accommodation. There has been a demand for, when hotels started raising their prices, there had been a demand for everyone to stay in a comfort, nice, good, hygienic experiences, Now, I'll take you back 20 years, we used to go in train from one state to another. We would stay in probably a dharmshala or a sarai khana or maybe a youth hostel. These things already existed, right? But what did not exist is the hygiene levels. What did not exist is a different way of looking how these entire accommodation can be turned into life, to be very honest, That's one point of it. The other point is that everyone can't afford to stay in 5-star hotels. And the third point which I'm trying to make is that now the world is really very, very informative. You see the digital medium, everyone knows, not only the chef knows how to cook a particular dish, right? But there's so much of literature, there's so much of videos, there's so much of information available in the digital world that everyone knows. So digital is one of the ways where these type of things have grown, right? There had been a demand for this. Definitely, some people have caught on to it and made this into a product, and today it's selling like hotcakes. Price points are really very, very important. They come at a very economical price. A hostel is basically for backpackers, Now, if someone is going on his bike from one state to another, where will he stay, right? and he has that limited income, limited money, but still wants to explore the world, right? So these are some of the reasons, first of all, why these type of accommodations have come into existence now, and they are very, very popular. Whether it's a threat to us, big hotel chains, the answer is no. Because there is today so much of demand for a hotel room, there's so much of demand for a good restaurant, a good eatery, even a good chai ka dukan for that matter. You talk about chayos, you talk about chai point, you talk about chai wala, and you talk about so many. We never knew that a tea stall can have this type of transformation, and people now flock over there, and these are business units on its own. So definitely there has been a demand for it. People wanted to explore. Hygiene is something which is really very, very important, which these places give, and that's how these things are mushrooming. Let me talk to you about the guest and their profile. There are several types of guests which we meet, right? There are corporate guests who comes and only stays in our hotel, probably from a safety security angle. Probably because my hotel can offer Italian cuisine, probably a Asian cuisine, probably a Indian cuisine, and so on and so forth. Some guests after the long day work want to go for a spa, right? The cars they travel in are really very safe and secured. So there is always a requirement for a star category hotel. That will not go down. And that the way our economy grows, the way industries are coming into, the way foreign investments are coming into our country, there will be a demand, and this entire five-star deluxe hotels will continue to grow. Good restaurants will continue to grow. At the same time, because of the information, because of the price point, because of the hygiene, these type of accommodations will also play a very, very important role. So in essence, everything is there. I don't think anything will get affected from it's not a competition. Let's not take it that way. It's not a competition, but it's really very, very healthy. Today, in today's economic world, and what we have learned, that demand creates supply. It's today very inversely proportional. Is the supply which creates demand, right? So there is a lot of supply of these type of units. You just have to market it. Demand is automatically created because of the information which is floating around the world. And that's not very expensive. All right. So I don't see a threat. I don't see any competition, but I see it growing in a very, very healthy manner.
Thank you so much, sir, for bringing in so much clarity on our question, on the doubt that we had. Thanks a lot. That cleared all our doubts. Thank you. My next question is for Chef Enzo Oliveri. Chef, you are a patron of Mediterranean food, and you have been championing this cuisine and food. What is Mediterranean food exactly? And why is Mediterranean food so special, significant, or unique? Could you explain that to our viewers?
Yes. Mediterranean diet, Mediterranean food, why? First of all, it's called the best, the more healthiest, because there is evidence that people from the Mediterranean, they live longer and they live better. So has been done a lot of studies why this is happening. And there is many, many reasons. One is that we are lucky to live in a soil that is a good land, there is a good sun, there is a good weather, not very much pollution. So this helps already a lot. But what we done here, we tried to preserve the heritage that we had. So we try to keep things as we found it. We don't try to modify, we don't try to change things. And we try to have the food seasonal. So every season, there is a season for everything. We don't need to have all the time strawberries. Why do you want strawberry when there is no season for strawberry? But we've been spoiled and we want strawberry because we want strawberry. No, it's not the season of strawberry. So you cannot have a strawberry. It's a season for different kind of fish because they come along just to leave the eggs. So we have to try to keep seasonal food. Try not to change things. Try to keep as they are. We have to know what is good for you, what is bad for you. So, and you have to do a research. And we've been growing up that the olive oil is good for you. We do everything with olive oil. And people that were thinking, but we're going to put all over your skin, even to sunbathe. Yes, why not? We do, olive oil is good. And you can, it is not saturated. So try to get the information, and you can have a better life. You can live it longer, and you can live it better. And but with everything else, try to avoid to abuse of such an ingredient. Just have a variety of food, have a different color of food, because every color that you find in the vegetable is different ingredient, different protein that you have different, and you need the fibers, you need the protein, you need carbo, but depends also what you do. If you run, if you do exercise a lot, so you need more carbo because you have to burn it. Knowledge, just to get the knowledge what is good for you, it does better. And we've been lucky in the Mediterranean that the mother told us what is good for us. Minestrone has been good for us because it's all the different color of vegetable. So we keep doing it. We had already teachers that they were our mother, and in the same way is in India. I found the India very, very similar with culture as the Italian culture, because the mother, they've been transmit what to do and how to treat the food, how to treat yourself, because food is what we put inside us. So if we try to put good food inside us and variety of food inside us, what better you can respect yourself and your body.
That was wonderful, sir. I think now, knowing the importance of Mediterranean food, the first task you have given us for the weekend is to look for Mediterranean eating joints around our city, around us, and to explore. Thank you so much, sir. That was very enlightening. My next question is to Sanchari ma'am. Ma'am, at your institution, one of the most fundamental lessons you impart is on soft skills. Do you think soft skills are important for all and everyone? And what is that first lesson you would want our viewers to be aware of regarding soft skills?
Thank you so much, Sonali ma'am, for this very important question once again. I think the main thing is soft skills can never really be one part of a training, and it cannot be discontinued at any point of time. Right? When we talk about exactly what soft skills mean and why we emphasize on that in education so much, today it is not just a part of the hospitality management that our institute or anybody else is teaching, but then it is an emphasis of every industry. Because just like we were all talking, and I'm sure Mr. Gupta will agree, because when we prepare our students in higher education and train them and make them capable for being, absolutely industry ready, they are the ones who will be tomorrow going and being a part of, the organizations which is being led by Mr. Gupta and Chef Enzo, right? When we talk about soft skills is not just about able to talk in English, right? We always emphasize on this thing to every student who comes in, because they have to first come with a background of understanding the language well. Communication skills has a lot of personal interactions that can be your capability to write, your capability to comprehend, understanding capability, listening skills, which sometimes gets messy. A lot of us do not have the patience to listen, right? They rather hear, but then they never listen. That is something we always try to help them do, because that's what our communication teachers, the institute, all of us always emphasize on, that you need to know all these nuances well to be a great communicator. And that cannot fulfill until the time you're able to secure the best in each and every component, which is either reading, whether you're able to speak well, speak in the right grammar with the right pronunciation, speak with the right words. The choice of words is very, very important when it comes to, again, speaking and communication, right? And definitely listening well so that you can understand what you're going to be replying in. Now, together with that, very important factors in your personality, like say, for example, being courteous, being polite, your body language. Again, as I said, the right choice of words, because you're dealing in an industry which is with different kind of people. Tomorrow, when you are there, when you're working in a hotel, you would be having a lot of people, different kind of personalities walking in. They can be irate guests. They can be guests who might be a little less understanding than somebody else. They can be extremely demanding people, both your internal as well as your, external customers. And you, as a hotelier, as a future hospitality representative in the industry, have to know how to deal with each and every person. That's what is your most important factor of being a hospitality professional. Because if you're not able to take care of people, does not matter if you know your finances well, does not matter if you know your digital marketing well, does not matter if you know your mother sauces well. So the most important thing that we always lay maximum emphasis on is soft skills, building up that soft skills that starts from the day one of your hotel school and goes on, I think, until the lifetime. Because you're just making yourself more better first when you're in the institute, when you're in the college, with your peers, your teachers, with your internal people, right? Then you're getting into the industry, which is a part of your entire being of being a hospitality, student, where you are encouraged to meet people, network with people, know people, become more social, right? And definitely that also enhances your personality skills, because technical skills, Sonali ma'am, you will learn, right? Everybody is there to teach you technical skills, which we call here as hard skills.
Right.
That can be emphasizing on your culinary skills, learning about new menus, ingredients, learning about how to do a food costing, revenue management, entrepreneurship, all these particular emphasis on your actual studies, academics, everything would be absolutely in sync, but it will not actually make you a great professional until the time you don't have the right soft skills in yourself. And that's where you will become more mature and more confident to tomorrow to lead people and definitely take care of people whom we are talking about. So if you ask me, there cannot be a more highest, you can say, scorer than being a person with the highest soft skills.
Absolutely.
That was wonderful, ma'am. Actually, you stole my words, and in fact, you spoke my heart. And that was truly, it felt like I was attending one of your captivating training sessions, perhaps. Thank you so much, ma'am. My next question is for Mr. Sanjay. Sir, with so much awareness on eating right and healthy eating, and a very strong preference of food for your guests, some following different kind of diets, keto diet, Atkins diet. I know there's a long list of type of diets if I go to name them, gluten-free diet. How do you address these at your business, and how challenging is it?
Very good question, ma'am. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can do some justice to this question. I think it all begins in a hotel school where these things are getting to be taught, So what we do in a hotel school, in year one, they tell us to chop onions, cut potatoes, make a mayonnaise sauce, make all the mother sauces. What are the cuts of meat? What are the cuts of fish? What are these cuts of vegetable known as? And so on and so forth, right? We practically don't like doing this, because these are stuff which is really very tedious, and we have never ever come across something like this. But please understand what it does to all of us. It increases our knowledge base. In 3 years' time, when we come out of catering college or a hotel management school, a hotel school really, really grills each and every aspect of food or each and every aspect of service or each and every aspect of learning which concerns hotels, we are all grilled and we are supposed to be knowing all these things. And that's why how we attend interviews and we get a job. So this predominantly is for a chef who joins us from day one. They should be knowing all these things and they should be able to take care of our guests. Now, it's not only the health food, or it's not only a gluten-free diet or maybe an Atkins diet. It's not that. I think hotels have evolved and hotels have even gone far away from there. There's a lot of hotel, including my hotel, which manages and which runs a concept which is called the farm to fork, right? So, from a sustainability angle, every hotel, including mine, is supposed to be regenerating the water. So if I use 1,000 liters of water in my hotel, I regenerate about 90% of the water and put it back again. Of course, to the cooling towers, of course, to the WCs, and so on and so forth. We make our own fertilizer from the waste material it comes, right? And then every hotel has a horticulture garden or a land where our chefs and our horticulturists, they grow all these organic vegetables. Could be carrot, could be radish, could be spinach, could be any sort of a vegetable, could be chilies, could be potatoes, right? Now, this farm to fork concept which we do is really organic and really healthy. We don't only talk about it, but we take our guests to these farms and tell them to pluck their own vegetable and the chef starts cooking. Now, it cannot be more organic and more healthy than this, right? In our hotel, we use something which is called the cage-free eggs, right? These are the eggs which are produced by chicken who are not being captivated in a poultry. They are made to run across everywhere. These are the eggs which doesn't come from cage. These are the eggs which are laid by these hens, right? And they are much, much more nutritious in their value. Chef understands that. There are chicken which is available, which are called the corn-fed chicken. They're the most and the best chicken in the world, So these are the things. If you go to our buffet counters, we do not only talk about health, we talk about allergens. I could be allergic to probably a millet. Someone else could be allergic to prawns. Someone else could be allergic to, say, a hot spice, maybe a chili. All right. So these are the things which we talk about. So all in all, it's not very difficult. It's the way you look at it. You have to be knowledgeable to understand the guest. And the more you do it, the better hotelier you become. Now, just to put things into one more last perspective, in 60 days time, I'm opening a restaurant in my hotel, which is an Indian restaurant, right? Now, we have all gone to Indian restaurant. And how does this entire Indian restaurant will be marketed and will become really very, very special? There's a metal which is available in our country, which is called kansa, right? It's an alloy of a lot of metals, which is molded together and forms the shape of a utensil, right? There is a lot of therapeutic value. So if I'm sure you must have heard that if you keep water in a copper container and if you drink it in the morning, it's really very healthy, right? So these containers in which we are going to serve food are very healthy containers. It doesn't only holds the temperature of the food, but the food becomes even much, much more nutritious. All right. We are running a concept as to wherever our produce comes from should be the best. So we are sourcing out paneer from a dairy in Haryana. We are sourcing out leg of lamb from Jaipur because lamb from Rajasthan and Kashmir are the best, right? Likewise, we are sourcing our spices from Kurg and from Chettinad, So the ingredients takes the hero stage, of that of this restaurant. So it's not what I'm trying to say. It's not only the uh, health conscious food, but it's also how you can go to the next level and the next level and then the level after that. Because it's really very easy these days to understand, because there's so much of information, as I said before, is available to all of us. I can go to the net, I can see Atkins diet, and I can actually start practicing it. I might just lose some weight also. But what is very, very important is to look at other aspects of food, the containers in which we serve, the type of food which we buy, the places where we buy from, the masalas which we use, the dairy products which we use, the type of eggs that we use, makes it even much, much more healthier. Today, health is not oil. Today, health is not only sugar. You cut your oil, you cut your sugar, of course, it's healthy. But today, talking about health is a gamut of a lot of things. And these are some of the things which I think is now gaining prominence in the entire world. And this is how our chefs are working in all our kitchens to get into the next level of food and beverage, ma'am.
Wow, sir. It feels as if we don't know even the tip of the iceberg, if I may say. We usually say that's the tip of the iceberg, and what lies below we don't know. I feel that we don't know the tip of the iceberg. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, you heard how the hotel industry runs and a bit of it, and how they procure food. So much to know. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
My final question for this round of the question answer round would be to Chef Enzo Oliveri. So, if you have to give a healthy diet menu for the entire day to follow, what would that be in short? And having had some idea about the Indian food habits and the Indian food eating, etc., would you like to suggest some changes to the Indian food structure, habit, eating style, to make it an ideal one? Some of us as Indians would love to know that.
Yes, already a lot has been said in this from this panel, very knowledgeable panel, about the healthy food and how to go around it. And really, we should make an effort to make sure to know where the food comes from and read about it. Try to change all the diet and not have always the same thing. Try to change every day. This is the best thing that you can do. And change once a week, like have red meat, no every day. Vegetarian, they are very healthy, but they change the vegetables. Don't use always the same vegetable. I will say eat not very late at night, because if you give some times to eat, the fasting is very important. Don't have food all the time and every time. Try to keep the stomach to recover. Is that don't keep stressing the food, because we eat when we are hungry. No, we eat when it's right to eat. And we can educate ourselves. We can educate our body and say, I start to eat no when I see the food, because a lot of people, they look at the food and they want to eat it. It's not. It's just you have to educate yourself. And today you have white meat, and another day you have just a vegetable, another day you have red meat, another day you have fish. The variety of food is so important, because we all need. We need all the vitamins that we get from the food. Salt and sugar, try not to use, or use a very little, just to give a little bit of flavor, because already in food there is sugar and salt enough for us. So we don't need any more, or add a very little just to give some flavors in certain dishes. What I say in Indian food, what would I would say is also try to the spices. The spices originated with just to preserve the food, and it became an habit to have all the spices possible in food. I know that tastes very good. You know your habit, but sometimes to have a plain food without spices, it gives a bit of a rest to the stomach of these strong spices that we all have. I know we like it, but we have to train ourselves to be educated what is right for our body.
Thank you so much, sir, for correcting our errors here and there. I think all of us are enormously enthused at this moment to start the practices immediately, perhaps from tonight's dinner. Okay, thank you so much to all our three eminent guests because we have completed the question answer round, and now we will move to the rapid fire round. Some of our students are very keen to have the rapid fire round with our guests, and I'm sure our speakers will enjoy as much as we would do. So over to you, students, and I think Sneha will come up with the first rapid fire questions for Chef Enzo Oliveri.
Good evening, esteemed guests.
I hope, Chef, you need to brace yourself here. You will be asked questions and you have to answer in quick succession, no thinking, the first word that comes to your mind. Here you go. Sneha, please go ahead.
Good evening, esteemed guests and dear friends. I'm Sneha, and today my questions are to Chef Enzo Oliveri. Good evening,
Hello.
sir.
Good evening.
With your permission, may I begin the rapid fire round?
Yes, please do it.
What is your favorite Indian food?
Oh, well, yeah, I've been in Hyderabad, and the most famous dish of Hyderabad is of course the rice that everybody is talking about. And when I go there, I have to have the special food of Hyderabad. So I won't miss it. I try everywhere I go to India. I love to have this special dish, which everybody does it, but they do in a different way. But the Hyderabad one, I think, is the best. Yeah.
A magic ingredient for you other than salt?
Other than so, the magic ingredient is chili. Chili is a magic ingredient for me because you can use as and when and enhance the food a lot when you use it in the right manner.
Your experience with Gordon Ramsay in a word or two?
Yeah, it's a good experience. He's a great chef. He's a gentleman. He's like what he appears on television, swearing and that. He's a real gentleman with a very lot of knowledge in cooking, and it's a pleasure to be with him.
If you could become someone else for a day, who would that be?
You. So I want to be you young generation of the hospitality world to be able to learn and do it again what I've done so far.
Quick tip that you would give someone who does not like to cook.
Somebody doesn't like to cook. Okay, you have to have plenty of money to go and eat in restaurant all the time. So be successful.
An ingredient in the kitchen that you love to smell.
An ingredient I love the smell, cinnamon is a great smell. Yeah.
The first dish that you would teach a beginner?
It's pasta. It's a pasta dish. It's a basic of Italian cuisine, so that's what I will teach.
Thank you so much, sir. It was incredible listening to you. Over to Preetham.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, honorable guests and my dear friends. I'm Preetham, and today my questions are to Mrs. Sanchari Chaudhary.
Sanchari ma'am, hope you are ready.
Yes, Sonali ma'am.
Okay,
Hello, Preetham. Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. May I begin with the questions?
Yes, I'm ready.
Would you rather travel to the past or to the future?
I think travel to the past. Yes.
If you had to write a book, what would it be about?
If I had to write a book, what will
What
be
would it
it
be about?
about? I think I love science fiction, so I would write something which is about science fiction, something about time travel.
What is one food that you didn't like as a child, but you liked as an adult?
Okay, so I don't know really what that name is, but then I'm a Bengali, so in Bengalis we call something as chirota. I'm sure most of us know what that is. So my mom used to give that, that's a bark of a tree, extremely bitter in taste. But then I used to hate having it every Sunday morning, which was in fact there at the breakfast table. But years later, I came to know the kind of qualities and nutrients that it had. So I cherish that now, but then I hated it all time, my entire childhood.
A memorable feat by a student.
I'm sorry, I could not get it, Preetham.
A memorable feat by a student.
A memorable feat or achievement by a student.
I think every student is very special, and being an educator, the most important thing and the most biggest success that we always have is to see our students grow great and, being cherished in the industry. So I think every such memory is very precious to me.
What is the word that you dislike hearing?
What is a word that I dislike hearing? I think
Yes.
no.
What do you most look forward to?
I think the day, because whenever I get up, I don't know, I always feel extremely lucky to be a part, lucky to be alive, and definitely do the things that I can. So it is definitely cherishing when I wake up in the morning and I look forward to a day with every adventure coming up.
Which is your favorite city in India?
I've been to a lot of cities in India, but then I think I love the city of Hyderabad the most because of everything that I've, in fact, been fascinated with. But then, though every city has got its own history and definitely people, which makes us very, very close. But then still, I will always feel that Hyderabad is the closest to myself.
It was a great pleasure interacting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Over to Kanisha.
Good evening, esteemed guests and my dear friends. I'm Kanisha, and today my questions are to Mr. Sanjay Gupta. Good evening, sir.
Hello, Kanisha.
With your permission, may I begin?
I'm slightly scared of you, but of course, I will try to answer. Let's
I'm
see
not
if I
scared.
can. Thank you. Please.
Okay. What is your favorite holiday destination?
My favorite holiday destination is Mauritius.
Oh. If not in the hospitality industry, which other profession would you be in?
I would have been a musician.
Describe yourself in a single word.
Humble,
Your favorite cuisine.
Italian.
One advice you always give to your team.
There is no shortcut to success.
What motivates you to start your day?
There's nothing special. Just because I'm a hotelier, I love my job. I every day wake up and try to be ready as quick as possible to come back to work. That's really very, very motivating for me.
An unforgettable comment by a guest.
No specific comment, but every time a guest appreciates all of us, including me, we really like it.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Kanisha.
Thank you.
Thank you, students, and thank you so much to all our esteemed speakers for being so patient and answering all those questions that were posed to you during the rapid fire questions. I hope you enjoyed it as much we relished hearing you about your experiences, about your likes and your dislikes. Thank you all. We will now want to hear a closing statement from our esteemed guests, perhaps their experience of being here. And if you have a message for our viewers to end the session before we go for the Q&A session, because we are actually running out of time, but we will not let this end abruptly. So we would want to hear a closing statement from you, dear guests. Any one of you can take up, sir, ma'am, anybody.
If I may.
Sure, sir. Yes, anyone.
So one of my closing statement, and I still feel and I still really believe, and I keep telling all our associates who work with us, including my kids, is that there has never been a shortcut to success. Do your job well. Whatever you do your best. Give your best. Whether you pass, whether you fail, it doesn't hold any materialistic value. As long as you are satisfied that you have done it and you are really very satisfied doing the job, I think that's the winning statement for you, right? It's not the result, it's the efforts what you put, and never ever take shortcut. That will not lead to success. This is my closing statement for the entire team sitting and listening to us over here.
Thank you so much, sir. Ma'am, would you like to add?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. I think to all our students, the entire team of DPS who's here, all our colleagues, everybody who's around, very important is that, we sometimes lose focus of our life. So dear students, because you're the most important here, right? You are the present and you are the future, and you will be the future leaders. So please remember, no matter what you do, always choose to be a great human being. And a great human being is somebody who will always remain generous, human, kind. Be kind to everything around you, whether it is people, your friends, people whom you don't know, animals, everyone. It's extremely important to be compassionate in life, right? Whatever you choose to take up as a future career, right? Because we always, after a point of time, lose the importance of a career in our life. We mostly do jobs. So try to have a career. A career is something which can never be away from you. That is something you embrace in your life, just like you embrace everything that you love. So career is as important to you. It cannot be something that you can leave. It has to be a painful end if it ever has to come. So please love what you do. Be passionate about whatever you want to become tomorrow, because if you have the right, if you have your heart in the right place, I'm certain you will never really get tired of what you will be doing tomorrow. What makes us grow old, what makes us grow, absolutely less in energy or maybe less functional in life is basically because of the passion which does not stay any further, right? We try to do things which we do not like. So please be in love with everything that you do. That is extremely essential. Don't forget that smile. Life should be taken up extremely smoothly, and you should love your life, right? And that will only happen when you appreciate yourself, right? When you appreciate the efforts which your parents make, your loved ones make. And if you're doing so, and if you're happy in doing what you are, I'm certain you will never be under the stress call that we talk about, right? So that is something which I want to tell all students here and everyone who's listening to us, that please love what you do and absolutely be passionate about your life and definitely everything that you want to acquire in life. Thank you. Thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, that those were such positive words coming from you. Thanks a lot. Chef, would you like to add something?
Yes, for all those people that they choose to be in hospitality, really, you are in an industry that you can get a really good life. You can enjoy yourself. You can express yourself. You can put your heart into it and really have a great life. One thing, don't forget, live healthy, live longer. So make sure that what you eat yourself first and what you serve food to other people, make sure is the best food that you can give for you, for the others. Enjoy your life, guys, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such insightful perspective and perceptive and panoramic conclusion to all three of your speeches. We would now like to move to the question answer session, the QA session coming from our audience, our viewers, but we do have run out of time, but we are not going to sacrifice any of our units or any of our planned part of the program, because though we had planned for a 1 hour session, but however, we'll just take one question per guest for the QA session. I will now request Nafisa ma'am to take over for the question answer session. Nafisa ma'am, I request you to have one question per guest because as you understand, it's already 6. So for the question answer session, over to you, Nafisa ma'am.
Sure, man. Thank you so much. Good evening, honorable guests and everyone present in this wonderful session. It was actually very informative and also entertaining at the same time. So we have a few questions, but as ma'am already mentioned that we'll be only taking a single question each guest. So my first question would be for Sanchari ma'am. What factors do you think would motivate students to choose a career in hospitality while there are other commonly sought after career options, especially medicine and engineering?
Thank you so much for the question, Nafisa ma'am. I think, again, it is a very important question. As I mentioned, as we were all been talking about, and it's not just about highlighting the fact that we're only talking about hospitality. Well, hospitality today is a foundation of any particular thing that you want to do in life. Yes, we do have an inclination of, becoming somebody tomorrow. We can be a great architect. We can be becoming a great, politician, right? We can also become an engineer. We can do a lot of things. But then hospitality has an extremely broad spectrum. The reason why is hospitality is not just, dealing with hotels. Right? It is not just about somebody who is graduating, especially somebody who is graduating with us. They are not just becoming tomorrow's hoteliers, but they are also basically getting into all the other allied industries of hospitality today. They can tomorrow become a part of the entertainment industry. They can become an event manager, like say somebody with Viscraft can be a hospitality professional. You can be a banker because today all multinational banks are looking for people coming in from hospitality, right? You can be with any multinational organization of the world, may that be an IT, it can be any other field, because until the time people will be continuing having their lunch, dinner, and breakfast, until the time, there is customer service where we are taking care of people, every industry would be needing a hospitality professional. And not just all, you also become tomorrow, a startup owner and an entrepreneur. And that is what exactly your skills, both your soft skills, your technical skills, your hard skills, everything is coming together. Your entire understanding of management is coming together to make you one. So if you're somebody who is adventurous, you want to see the world, you want to become a globetrotter, you don't want to be somebody who has to sit on just a desk and work the entire day, right? You want to have something new every day where you're meeting new people, you're having excitement in your job, you're having a lot of challenge, right? Because challenges make you strong, and that's what hospitality makes you do, right? And if you're really thriving with ambition, then this is the field that can help you get into newer heights. You can do so many new things, and definitely it makes you a global person. Because I think this is a field that takes you across continents and you become a global personality. So that's what I have to say about hospitality and choosing the career of hospitality. Also, together with that, it makes you a very different person. Today, anybody can basically see somebody and say that whether that person belongs to the hospitality industry or something else. Right? The way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way you dress up, your entire, your politeness, your presence, everything makes you somebody very, very different, dignified, and always happening, if I have to say.
Thank you so much, ma'am. My next question will be for Sanjay sir. So as a hotelier, you must have been meeting with a lot of celebrity guests, I believe. So we would like to hear an anecdote from you on a meeting which you will remember forever.
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, of course, in my life, and we all keep meeting a lot of celebrities. They come, they stay in our hotel, they eat in our restaurants, they use our hotels profusely. One of such incidents was, if I recollect well, just about a year and a half, 2 years back. We were just coming out of pandemic, and suddenly we got a reservation where Anupam Kher was coming with his team to stay in my hotel. And that time I was in Le Méridien in Gurgaon. And we were trying to make ourselves ready, and we were trying to understand what will he eat, how will he stay. And then I greeted him with a bouquet of flower, and suddenly he puts his hands on my arms and he says, "Come, let's go together to the room." I said, "Oh, he is really a very friendly person," and that gave me so much of confidence, to talk to him rather than talking to him as sir. I started calling him Anupam sir, if I have to do this. And he says, Sanjay, I'm really very hungry. What will you give me? So I said, "What do you like?" He says, "I would like to have," and that this was like little evening time. He says, "Give me a little chicken sandwich and give me some chai." I took him up to the room. We dressed his room with his photograph, and I kept 2 books in anticipation that he signs, right? Now, all of this was happening, and he was one of our paid guests, and usually to paid guests, we don't even tell them, or we don't try to solicit any comments, If he's happy as a guest, he will try to write something, he will try to give some comments, and so on and so forth, We were hoping that he posts, because if you go to his Instagram profile, he has few lakhs of people who are attached to him, and his one tweet or one message on the Instagram makes a lot for any company, any hotel, any industry for that matter, good, bad, because he has so much of followers with him. So I could say that, at the end of the day, if you are happy, please post about our facility, and that will create a lot. Absolutely, this news goes viral, We took care of him so well that, he did not even do one post, but he went to the gym. He did an Instagram reel on our gym, and he wrote, "At the Le Méridien Gurgaon, it's such a fabulous gym," and then he talked about our food. He talked about our service. He named our people. I think that is the best time I have ever encountered a celebrity, and there was so much of calls, there was so much of inquiries, there was so much of stuff after he left, like, if he is liking the property, it's so good from a marketing angle, and then you can't say, tell this to him to do it. And he did it all by himself. So that was a very good interaction. That was a really, that was something which I will just never ever forget, my interaction and my little attachment with Anupam Kher.
Thank you so much, sir. The last question for the evening will be for Chef Olivier. Yes, sir. So you run a lot of restaurant, a chain of restaurant. So what effort do you generally put in to ensure that your guests don't get bored of the food that you're serving and they keep coming back to your restaurants?
There is a trick that you have to use to make interest on what you do, because nowadays you shouldn't have a big menu, but you should change often the menu. So what we do seasonal menu. So every 3-4 months we change the menu slightly, and then we have always special dishes every day. So we have the special dish, which is a special menu, set menu. We make interest for what is seasonal and what is is good for people. So keep changing it, menu.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thanks all of you. Now over to Sonali, ma'am.
Thank you to all our esteemed guests for those enlightening and for the scintillating session. With that, we come to the close of our discussion for tonight. And it was truly an engrossing and enticing session, a star-studded night indeed. Thank you, Ms. Sanchari, Mr. Gupta, Chef Enzo, for those stirring and gripping insights from each one of you. I know how occupied and busy you all remain. You all have such brisk travel schedules. It was difficult to get in touch with so many of you at different times. In spite of that, you all consented for our event, and with your splendid presence, you graced us. We are truly delighted and immensely gratified. Thank you all once again. Thank you, viewers, for joining us this evening. This is Sonali, your host, signing off for tonight. See you on another occasion, on another episode on the 15th of April. Good night, take care, and have a great week.